Back on Golf Central pregame, the Lotte Championship has seen some notable winners in recent memory, including Brooke Henderson in 2019 when she successfully defended her title to go back-to-back. And in 2021, it was LPGA Hall of Famer Lydia Ko's turn to lift the trophy. She shot a final round 65 to set the tournament scoring record at 28 under par and finished 7 shots ahead of everyone in the field. A reminder that live coverage of this year's Lotte Championship is coming your way just a little under a half hour from now at 7 p.m. Eastern Time right here on Golf Channel. And the first round already underway. Here's a peek at how things are shaping up early on day one. Rookie Akie Iwai, and already a winner this season on the LPGA Tour, leading the pack early on Oahu. Well, for more on the LPGA Tour, we say hello to Golf Week senior writer Beth Ann Nichols, who recently returned from a trip to the Netherlands to preview the Solheim Cup. That's just a year away from now, and tickets are already on sale. And Beth Ann, as we were talking earlier, it sounds like they're taking a pretty interesting approach to getting fans to the course. What's the ticket offer?
Yeah, transportation was a big theme in 2024. So when I found out that there will be no cars in 2026, I was like, okay, they're arriving by bike. And how is this going to work? As some might know, bikes are a big deal in the Netherlands, and they have a tremendous infrastructure in place, whether you're getting around Amsterdam or going from village to village. It's the preferred mode of transportation. And what you're looking at right now is the Dutch Grand Prix, where some 45,000 fans will arrive via bike every year. And so for the Solheim Cup, when you buy your tickets for 2026, there's going to be an option there where you get to choose your transportation. Would you like to arrive by bike, in which case you'll go to the train station and pick up a bike, or you could hop on the bus? It's actually going to be shorter, quicker for you to take the bike, about a 25-minute bike ride, which will be, serene, no traffic on the bike path, pass some pastures, cows, sheep, a nice relaxing bike ride as you're headed to the first tee, where you'll only be about 50 yards from the first tee when you park your bike. So, we'll never see anything like this in golf again. I dare say they're thinking anywhere between 7,500 to 10,000 bikes will be on hand for fans who want to take a bike. Of course, that doesn't include all the Dutch fans who will come with their own bike. So if you want to, as they say, do as the Romans do when in Rome, go by bike to the Solheim Cup.
I am going to spend the next year exercising and getting ready to be riding a bike every day to work. Well, Beth Ann, speaking of the Solheim Cup, you were also watching the Ryder Cup this past weekend. You posted on social media about the envelope rule, which has come under some scrutiny in recent days. And you drew a comparison to how this situation is handled in the Solheim Cup when a player is unable to play. How do they handle this differently at the Solheim Cup?
Well, essentially, there's a name and an envelope at the start of the week. And before the competition starts, if there's an injury and someone has to pull out, then an alternate can come in. But once the competition starts, no more alternate, no more envelope. If you are injured for a foursomes match, for example, you'll have to forfeit. The full point will go to the other side. If you're injured for a singles match, same thing, full point goes to the other side. So we saw this go into play in 2011 when the Solheim Cup was in Ireland, and the two teams came into Sunday singles tied at 8 points apiece, and Christy Kerr got injured, and so Karen Stupples, as a result, got the full point for Europe, who went on to win the Cup. So, I feel like the women have this right because I know that this has been in play for a long time, obviously for the men since 1979, but I feel like I don't really understand how this is sportsmanship. When you look at the greater landscape of sports, and injury is just an unfortunate part of sports. And by and large, anything that I can think of, if you get injured, the win goes to the other team, whether it be tennis or boxing. It's not a tie. So, I think that the vast majority of sports fans, when they found out about this rule, I would imagine that they're not thinking that golf is taking the higher ground here, that I would think a lot of them would think that this is a whiff. Keegan Bradley obviously would like to see the rule change, but objectively speaking, I think that they really should take a look at this, because I don't know that it would go well in today's viral age if this were to happen again.
Yeah, perhaps there's time for an update here. Perhaps the LPGA leading by example. We'll see if they take a page from what they do. Well, Stacy Lewis recently announced her retirement from the LPGA Tour. She'll play her final regular season event this week at the Lotte Championship before she officially calls it quits at the Chevron Championship. Now, Beth Ann, Lewis reached #1 in the world. She certainly made an impact inside the ropes, but she's also had a huge impact on the growth of the LPGA Tour. How would you describe the legacy that Lewis is going to be leaving behind?
Well, I think when you look at Stacy Lewis, you have to start with her back, of course. Before she starts her freshman year of college, she has a back surgery to correct her childhood scoliosis, a steel rod in her back and 5 screws. And she's thinking, am I ever going to be able to play golf again, let alone, play college golf? She's not even thinking about professional golf. So the fact that she could go on, have this career, be, 2-time player of the year, 2-time Bear Trophy winner, 2-time major winner, #1 in the world, and every day think about her back is remarkable in and of itself. But then when you add the fact that she became the #1 player in the world at a time when the LPGA was desperate for events, and so many sponsors that were on her body and her golf bag wound up becoming title sponsors for the LPGA Tour. And she was able to answer the question that several CEOs gave her of, why should I sponsor an LPGA event? And she did it in such a way that they ended up doing it. Of course, KPMG being the most notable, which, the cascade effect of KPMG's involvement with the LPGA in terms of the majors is well documented. But it also changed the way, a lot of regular tournaments title sponsors came into the fold with the Women's Summit. So, I think that Stacy, her willingness to change not only her golf game after her body changed, but she actually changed who she was in terms of being comfortable with the media, being comfortable being that spokesperson who even when it was not popular to say the hard thing, the truth, Stacy was going to say it, because she knew that the media could help create change for the tour. So, I think that Stacy Lewis has definitely had a World Golf Hall of Fame worthy career. I even think that she could be the first player commissioner that the LPGA has ever had, at some point down the road. I'm really excited to see what she does next.
Yeah, I'm with you. I do not think that this will be the last that we see of Stacy Lewis in the golf world, that's for sure. All right, Beth Ann, before I let you go, there's just 7 events remaining on the LPGA Tour schedule, which is crazy. We're already at this point in the season. Now, as they move into this closing stretch, that means that some of these races for the season-long awards are starting to heat up, especially for Player of the Year, which is points-based on the LPGA. Who's in the hunt?
Well, right at the top, of course, you have Gino Titicun, and then right behind her, Benji Lee. Only 19 points separates them. You have to finish in the top 10 to get a point. A win is worth 30 points. Neither one of these players have won the LPGA Player of the Year title. So it'll be certainly newsworthy for both of them. Only one Aussie has ever won it, and only one Thai player has ever won it in the past. So
Are we doing this one or
also
no?
worth a Hall of Fame point.
Well, part of this closing stretch of the year is also the Hanwha Life Plus International Crown, which will be held in Korea this time around. And there's going to be a world team added to the lineup. Beth Ann, who are some of the new faces we're going to get to see for the first time in this event?
Lydia Ko, Brooke Henderson, and Charlie Hull will all be competing on the same team, on the new world team. And for a lot of players, they hear a person like me saying that the Solheim Cup is the crown jewel of the LPGA, but then they don't get to compete in any of these team events. The fact that they finally get to do that, I think they will be certainly a team favorite, and they're really excited about it.
Well, Beth Ann, always great to spend some time with you and get your insights. Let's get together for a bike ride soon. What do you say?
I'm all about it.
See you down the road.